Alright, welcome back everybody. Today we have a very awesome figure today. It's one of my favorite Wolverines that has been made to date. And it's made by the amazing Yamaguchi, Rebel Tech figure. Um, and I highly suggest you get one of these, but do be careful. There are bootlegs out there, so if you see one going for $25 or something in that nature, it's more likely a knockoff KO. But if you get the real McCoy, I mean, you're gonna enjoy it. Right now, on the secondary market, this figure is going from $150 pre-owned to $400 used. And me, I'm a little bit of a nut. I would pay that just because if I like something, I don't care what it costs. I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna own it. But enough said. Today we are looking at Wolverine by amazing Yamaguchi, and it's an awesome figure. It's my favorite Wolverine that's ever been made. It beats the Marvel Legends in my eyes. The posability is just awesome. The stylizing, the way he has it, it's great. I have no complaints about this figure. The only thing I will tell you is that you got to get used to the Rebel Tech technology. The ball joints are ratcheted, or in the waist. That's how you can tell another way if it's real or not. And the way the ball joints sit, you can't just pose it like a regular figure because they're at angles. The ball joints, when they're placed in the socket joints, they're at angles, and if you put too much stress on it, it will snap. So that's one thing I will be telling you about this figure is you got to get used to the posing of it, and once you start to get to learn the joints and how they move and what angles they go into, and you'll be a lot better at posing it. Like I said, it's a little bit more stylized, but this is awesome. I think, like I said, this is the best Wolverine out there. Me mainly is because of the claws. The claws are huge, just like in the video games. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I know they made a game verse recently dropped, a 2-pack with Wolverine and Silver Samurai, and a lot of people are complaining because he's too big. But I understand. But like I said, by far, hands down, the Yamaguchi version of the stylized Wolverine is by far the best. Yes, there's Mafex out there. I do not have a Mafex. I would think that's right on par with this Wolverine, but I do not own a Mafex at the moment because those are extremely as well. You're gonna pay 200 to 400 almost for those Mafex figures. Well, like I said, they're worth it, but even though when I see the Mafex in this one, I still like this one just because of how the claws are more stylized in this one, and the Mafex are just straight out. But let's get into this. Like I said, this is Wolverine. He has come out with a Deadpool, a Batman, and it's real stylized. And you see cuts in the shoulder. Some of y'all might think that's weird, but you do get a little bit more articulation out of that. And like I said, once you figure out how to see that right here, you can move the shoulder, as you can see. But once you start to figure that out on how to pose this figure and how the ball joints move, it is a great figure. Look at that. It is awesome. Like I said, posability is great. Like I said, you just got to get used to the joints. Like I said, you see the cuts. Once you start messing with them, it does mess up the sculpt pattern, but that's all figures. You got some great articulation, and I put a little bit of sticky tack on the bottom of my figures because they are expensive in my eyes, and I don't want them falling over and scuffing paint. You get a nice toe hinge. Like I said, this Wolverine is the best in my eyes. My favorite until I get a Mafex and I compare it to him. But like I said, this highly stylized version of him is awesome. And you can see the ball joint here. And it does be covered up by his shoulder pads. But if you just look at those claws, look at that. They are wonderful. Nice and long. Like when he's gonna gut you, he's gonna gut you. You're going in half. I don't care what he chops off. But yeah. But like I said, there is neck movement in here. You know, on top of that, the head moves. Very nice with the neck. Got some good detail in there. And like I said, you just got to get used to how these Revoltech joints work, because you do not want to stress them at the anchoring spots. They have them in the holes. But yeah, this is, like I said, a very, very beautiful, awesome figure of Wolverine. Highly stylized, nice big arms, you know. But yeah, and as for the claws, you know, you get 3 sets of hands, but the claws do come off. Let me show you that real quick. You see there, you just peg that in there into the wrist, and you could do that with some open hands. And we're gonna check out. Let's put him to the side real quick. Make sure he is. And you get 2 different heads with this bad boy. Get a slash effect. You get some very cool artwork in the back, as you can see. Looks like it's straight out of a comic book. But you do get some nice art within in there. So it did come with the stand. I have it in the box, and you get extra pegs just in case they snap. They didn't have to do that, but they do, because like I said, the way these joints work are pretty crazy. These are double ball pegs, and they are, like I said, once you start to figure them out, you would understand the anatomy of these figures and get great poses out of them. Alright. And you do get like a little awesome slash effect with this. Thought that was very cool. I had never used it, but. And another thing that's awesome about this, besides the 2 head scopes, you get some nice head scopes. So here's yelling one. Like I said, very awesome. The white eyes, great detail. For his second head sculpt, nice paint apps. The thing that I do love about this figure is you get a certain hand in this, and they didn't include it, but if they would have, it would have been awesome. But I do understand why they didn't, because of guns and smoking and all that. He does have a hand that is meant to hold his cigar, his stogie, and that has great detail on there, you know, so you can get that iconic pose of him smoking. I love that they gave you this, you know. I think they should have given these cigars, but I understand there's rules and regulations with making figures, and that's why they didn't do it. Okay, you get 2 of these hands, and these are removable, by the way, for the hands, I think. But yeah, these little claw guards do come off, so you can place his actual claws on there. But right now, I don't feel like stressing anything out, but just to let you know, they are. And you get a gun holding hand. I don't think he needs that, but you know, yeah, it's in there. So you get your pair of gun holding hands. Like I said, very awesome detail on these things. And that is all for that. Like I say, you do get a stand to hose them in there, but I have that in the box for now. But I highly suggest, if you are looking for an awesome Wolverine figure, this is the one. Maybe the one by Mayfix as well. That one goes for a pretty penny too. And that's the back of the. They do have a Deadpool, which is very awesome. I do have a Batman by Amazing Yamaguchi. That's one of the first ones. I think they did a vamp on it, a 2.0 version. I'm hoping they do that with this one. But like I said, it is a very, very awesome figure. I highly suggest you go pick it up if you can drop the coin for it. Like most people will. I am one of them that will drop coin for it if I really, really want it. And I'm that person. It might take me a little bit, but I will get it. Like I said, no matter. You can get this guy in very nice poses. So, yeah. Like I said, some of the articulation, you do gotta mess with it. But like I said, once you get the hang of the ball joints, and like I said, moving these forward gives you a lot more range. So you can do awesome poses with them. Like I say, you hear the ratchet joints in the waist. But other than that, it is a nice figure overall. And like I said, once you get used to how these joints work, you will be making some great poses in no time. That is it for today. Just wanted to show you one of the best Wolverines I think that are out in the market. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did a review for it. I've had them for a while. Like I said, this is my favorite Wolverine. But I highly suggest you go pick one up if you're going to drop the coin for it, like I said. Because this one here is just incredible. Like I said, the ranges you can get with these shoulder blades is amazing. The shoulder articulation. But like I said, I hope this makes you want to buy it more. Because the things you can do with this one's, besides a Marvel Legend, and to compare him to a Marvel Legend, it This is Astonishing Wolverine, the latest one, or one of them that's come out. And you cannot. This one has pinless joints. Well, I guess you can, sort of, really, not really. But for me, these are just too small. I like the stylized version of how big these claws are. Like, it's just so beefy claws. It's always better with bigger claws. Like I said, if you could drop coin on this one for it, I highly suggest you do it. And you're gonna fall in love with it as much as I did, because this is a highly stylized Wolverine that's meant to be posed in great poses. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, share, follow, and I'm going to show you some more of the cool stuff I collect. And like I said, just hit that note. Just get ready for more notifications so you can be alerted when I drop something new. Alright, I'll see y'all soon. Y'all take care, and go pick you up a Wolverine by the amazing Yamaguchi.